Good evening. It is February 24th, and it is 6:35 in the evening, and we are about to, this is the Joint Committee on Judicial Retention, and we are about to convene a public hearing that has been noticed for witnesses to join either in person or via internet. We do have a witness that has requested to be heard. Unfortunately, we don't have a video, but we can hear you well. And if you would introduce yourself, then we will have the committee introduce themselves, and we will begin with your testimony. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. I'm Pam Blair, and I live in Ferrisburg, Vermont.
Okay, Pam. All right, so again, we'll start up in the corner. Senator Nitka, Alice, introduce yourself if you would.
Hi, I'm Senator Alice Nitka. I live in Ludlow, represent Windsor County and some other towns in surrounding counties. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Pam, my name is Joe Benning. I'm a state senator from the Caledonia County District, which is all of Caledonia County and the 6 northeasternmost towns of Orange County.
Thank you, Joe. And so I see the senators are lined up across the top row here on the screen. So we'll go to Senator Dick. I should say. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dick McCormick. I represent the Windsor County Senate District, Windsor County, Londonderry, and Mount Holly.
Hello.
Thank you. Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Ms. Blair. My name is Ruth Hardy, and I live in East Middlebury, and I am your senator in the Addison District. So welcome to our meeting. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you notice, Pam, this is called the Joint Committee because there are 4 senators and 4 members of the House of Representatives. So in the room here in the State House are your 4 reps, and it will start with Will.
Thank you. I'm Representative Will Knott. I represent Rutland 5-4, which is the northwest border of Rutland City, and I serve on the House Judiciary Committee.
Thank you. Celine.
Hi, I'm Representative Selena Colburn, and I represent Burlington's Chittenden 6-4 district.
Hello.
Butch.
Hi, my name is Representative Butch Shaw. I represent Brandon, Pittsford, and Sudbury, and I sit on the Transportation Committee in the House.
And hi, Pam. I am Representative Chip Troiano. I'm the chair of this committee. I serve on the General Housing and Military Affairs Committee, where I am the vice chair. So welcome this evening, and we are going to turn the mic over to you. We can hear you just fine. And if you just wish to begin your testimony, now that you know everyone here, please do.
All right. I had the unfortunate luck to have had to appear before Judge John Pack because I have some people that live not on my road, but on another road who have been riding their ATVs and gators up and down the road for years and years. I've tried to get it stopped for a long time. They're loud. They kick up a lot of dirt, and it's very annoying, and it's not legal here in Ferrisburg to be able to drive on the road. And that's on section 24, I believe, in the motor vehicles, that it's not being able to be operated on the road. They went past my house in, I believe it was February. And when they went by, I noticed that they had gone by because I have a video camera. Because previous to this, these people's son, who was 19 years old at the time, my husband had gone down to his house. My husband just got home from school, and he was sitting in his truck when this young man went flying by the house. My husband went down, stopped by the side of the road and said, "Brendan, would you please not drive down by my house so fast? It's dangerous." He knew this child or this young man from school, even though he wasn't in the same school anymore. He'd gone on to high school. So from that time on, the next weekend, we're sitting here and I see a truck pull up. I had video cameras. I saw a truck pull up by our driveway with light bars on the top of his truck, very distinctive. And that's what this kid owns, is a very hopped up diesel truck. He, I saw it, and I had a feeling it was him. My husband was washing dishes, and I said, Jerry, look out the window. Somebody's out there. So we immediately ran out. The truck had already left. We looked around. It was really dark. We didn't have any lights out there. So then the next morning we get up, and my husband comes back in the house. He goes outside and he goes back in. He says, Pam, my new truck's been egged. And I said, oh, so that's what the truck was doing that stopped here in the driveway. He egged my husband's truck. We went down to the parents' house, and the mother came out, and we said to the mother, we think that your son egged our house. We prefer that he didn't do this anymore. It's not a good thing. And the kid came back a week later, and he shot a baby gun, and he took out one of our side mirrors on a truck and a window out of our garage. I knew it was the same people because I looked back on video. We looked up the video, and same truck with the light bar. So I said, well, that's him. Same deal. We already knew that we weren't going to get anywhere with the parents, because even though we both called the police that day when it was egged, the police came and gave us both trespassing orders so that we couldn't talk to each other. We never had any trouble like that before, and I really couldn't believe they were giving us trespass orders for having gone down and asking his parents to curb his behavior. And ever since then, after those two incidences, this went on for like 2 years before the final thing. He would constantly come to our house, rev on his diesel truck, just being generally annoying. And it was, sometimes it bordered on frightening for me when my husband wasn't here. I'm going, why does this kid keep coming back over and over again, And we weren't getting anywhere. So we called the police over and over and over again. There's a record of that. And they would never do anything. They wouldn't do a thing. They wouldn't stop anything. They said there's no law against revving, even though the kid was doing it every day. Then he started coming by and doing the rolling coal thing, which is where you emit black smoke out of your truck, which is totally, I believe, illegal here in Vermont. And the parents allowed this behavior to keep going on and on. And then probably a year after that, my husband died in 2019. And I was here alone, and I see these people, I see the same people going down the road in their gator. So I have a habit of, on the weekends, I go around the block, I call it. It's just a 3 square mile ride around, and I check for deer and stuff. And I see the gator down in somebody else's field, and I'm going, well, now why are they riding that gator down the road to go up in the field, and turn out they were sugaring, which is fine, but they don't own the farm. They rent the farm. So as I was on my ride, I saw them out there, and I stopped on the road and I called state police. And I said, because this was the first time I had ever been able to catch them having been on the road. I was still holding on to all that other stuff. And I called the police and I said, look, I don't want them going past my road anymore. They're up there right now. Anyways, the police showed up, told me to go home. I never got out of my truck. While I was there, the man came out of the woods on the gator. He came down to my truck in the road. He pulled sideways so that I couldn't pull past him. And he came right up to my window. And he said, you need to leave my son alone. I said, I'm not doing anything to your son right now. Why are you out here in the road, talking to me? Because he didn't know what I was doing. And he continued to swear. And then he went back in the field. He called his wife and a neighbor of theirs. And they showed up. And for 13 minutes or so, I have a video of it. They proceeded to give me the finger, screaming at me in the road. I'm waiting for the police officer to come. Then finally, the woman neighbor came walking up to my truck and she hit the side of my truck and she said, "You get out of here. We don't want you here and whatever. You have no business being here." And I said, "I'm sitting here on the side of the road. You're the one that has no business being here on that gator." And what I didn't know at the time was that her husband had driven the gator down there with Mr. Wagner. And he stayed up in the woods for the whole time. The cops never even knew he was up in the woods. And he stayed up in the woods because he had been drinking. So they were driving and drinking that gator for years. This family, the Steady family, has been on this road. They drink and they drive the gator up and down, up and down, up and down. And I just got sick of it. And that's why I called the state police. So the cop arrived. He said, without any checking on anything, the cop said, "Well, they can operate that gator within the confines of their farm." And I said, "Yes, they can, if they do have a farm." I said, "These people don't have a farm. There's nothing here. They don't own a farm." I said, "I don't know what they're doing here on Bassett's property, but they do not own a farm." And the police said, yes, whatever. So he sent me off, and next thing I know, people are showing up at my door, and another police officer, and they gave me a stalking order that I had to appear. I was to appear in district court to answer this stalking order. And I said, "Really? Okay." So I went to the court date. Judge John Cox was the judge right from the get-go. As soon as I stated why I was there, what had happened, he said, "I don't believe you." And I said, what don't you believe? He said, "I don't believe that I don't believe your truck was ever egged. I do not believe that there was a window shot out of your garage. I have video proof of all of this. I have the pictures of the eggs on the truck." He said, "You should have gone in and had coffee with those neighbors and discussed the matter with them over coffee or something." I'm going like, these people were yelling at us when we went down there, and they wouldn't even call their son out of the house to ask him if he had egged our truck. I said, "So you really think that we should have had coffee with them when they wouldn't even bring their son out to ask him if they had done this?" She just, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand, first of all, if I've got 5 children. If some neighbor shows up here at my house and they says my child has done something, I'd have that child outside and speaking with the neighbors and me there immediately. There would be no hiding any child, or actually he wasn't a child at that time. He was 19 years old enough to answer for himself. So Judge Cox says, "Okay, I don't believe anything that you've told me here today." He said, "I don't believe your story," he said. And by this time, I realized that I was getting nowhere with him when he told me that I should have gone in and had coffee with him after my truck had been egged. I said, "Well, we couldn't go in and have coffee because we had to go home and scrub egg off our car." And he just said, "Okay, that's it. You're stalking. You leave those people alone. Don't you go near their house, and do not contact them with social media." So I agreed to that. And the stalking order was in place. And he continued on a daily basis to come up past my house, doing the harassing thing of the revving, burning out, fishtailing his truck past my house. It's a dirt road, kicking up rocks. This continued on until, I also want to say, on the day that we came back from court that day, I was out in my yard and their boy went by in his truck. He went down to the corner. He turned around and he came right back up to me. He rolled his window down and he took a picture of me. And then he backed up all the way back to the corner. And I said, "Well, that's just odd. Why is he doing that?" It was just another thing that he was doing. So I said, "Okay, I can't do anything. I'm got a stalking order against me. All I can do is call the police." And the police were not receptive to me calling them and telling them about any revving or anything else. They just kept saying, we're not coming. On the night of June 4th, I believe it was, it was a hot summer night, and up the road comes 7 gators and ATVs. It was this young man and 7 of his friends. Some of them were side by sides and some of them were ATVs. When they got by my house, they were going very fast. I couldn't even see anything after a while for the dust. And they turned down at the corner and went past my neighbor's house. My neighbor had been telling them to slow down their truck all along too. He ran out to the road and he said, you boys stop, because this isn't right. You stop harassing my neighbor. And none of them stopped except the last ATV in the pack. And then they continued on. They didn't turn around and go back home. They continued on to Limekiln Road. They went up to Moncton Road and they went to a trailhead in Moncton. And they were so reckless on this trailhead. It goes through a neighborhood and they were scattering children and farm animals on the road. And it led those people to say the next day on Front Page Forum, we have closed the trailhead because of abuse of our neighborhood. They said, we're not going to put up with this anymore. Because these 7 gators had gone down and done exactly what they do to me, or did to me all the time. Then he would escort. And so when that happened, I called the police and I said, please come. They're doing their thing again, and 7 of them. The police officer said, I'm not coming. I said, what do you mean you're not coming? My neighbor had also called him. He called them before I called him. And they told him, we'll stop at your house. Well, they never stopped. They never went to my neighbor's house. They never did anything. So, yeah, stupid me. I jump in my truck because I wanted to document this. And I never even thought so much about the stalking order. I went down to there. It's a little cutoff road off Moncton. And I pulled up beside their house in the road and I was taking pictures of the trucks with the ramps leading out of them from where they had taken their ATVs out. There were 7 different pickup trucks there. And of course, since I did that, I violated the stalking order. So now for 3 years, I've been fighting this stalking order and I still haven't got resolution to it. It's cost me over $4,000 to defend myself from this whole crap happening. I'm alone without my husband. And he continues to still do the same stuff today. And I'm still working through because I'm not pleading guilty to stalking those people. They wouldn't even have known I was there because they were all drinking in the garage, but their neighbor came home and started screaming at me. That was I. He said, aren't you not supposed to be here or whatever? So since that time, I've been harassed about on a daily basis. They call it Steadyville because they all live together down at the end of my road. And I had a man come up here in the fall with his dog, and I have big flower gardens. He let the dog come into my flower gardens and crap. And I turned to him and I said, hey, you can't, no, I live on a back road. You could have had that dog go bathroom anywhere, not in my yard. There's only 5 houses on the road and it's a long road. So he looked at me and he said, aren't you in enough trouble already? Like I deserved his dog crapping in my yard because I had violated a stalking order. Since then, they have treated me quite badly. I try to pay no attention to them anymore because I've learned my lesson in violating the stalking order. Because this is never gonna end for me. And I just feel like if Judge had listened to me to begin with, or if he viewed any of the pictures or anything else, then he might have seen it in another light. But he just completely cut me off at that first meeting about the stalking. And ever since then, I've, my health is suffering. I've never been in trouble in this town. I've lived here for 25 years. I have people that bother me all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's just been a harassing thing now for the last 10 years, and I just can't take any more of it. So I wish that the judge would have helped me. He questioned the young man about speeding. And when the kid said to the judge, he said, well, I have one speeding ticket that I know of. Well, if I have a speeding ticket or more than one, I would know how many speeding tickets I had. There was just more favoritism for these people. And like I said, I'm still fighting it. I had to use my husband's money that I was saving for his gravestone to be able to pay for my lawyer. And I just had a hard time of it. And I just feel like Judge Pat, he was very arrogant through the whole thing too, like he was an old father to me or something, punish me. And I'm sick of it. We've been completely bothered by these people for so long that it wasn't funny. And I just wish Judge Pack could have stopped it. But he didn't. So I guess that's my story, and I'm still going through it.
Okay. Thank you, Pam. Thank you for coming in and sharing that with us. It took a lot to come in here.
Yeah. And I'm the whole thing about the ATVs. He escorts people up and down the road because I can't follow him. So when his friends come on ATVs, he'll come with his truck and he'll escort them up and down past my house because I can't follow the kid. So it's been a long haul.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks very much, Pam. Appreciate that.
Thank you for hearing me out.
Yes, okay. So at this point, I think it's customary to ask Judge Pack if he has any response to this testimony that we just heard.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, before Judge Pack comes on, could I just inquire from Ms. Blair whether there is now a pending criminal charge against her?
Yes,
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have opened that to questions first. Okay, Senator Benny, please do.
Yeah, Ms. Blair, is there a pending criminal charge against you?
Yes, there is.
Ooh,
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm a little nervous about getting into a back and forth in the midst of a pending criminal case. And I know Ms. Blair may be frustrated by that, but logistically, it puts us in a very bad bind.
Yes, I agree, Senator Benny. I agree. Thanks for bringing that up. I agree. So at this time, Pam, you have to understand that this is a judicial retention hearing and that public information between you and the judge, if this is a public forum, would be inappropriate having a criminal charge pending you against you at this time. So I think at this point, what I would propose that we do is, Pam, thank you for appearing tonight. And
I will never appear before Judge Pack again. Never.
Well, that is as it may be, but he was involved in this case at some point. So what the committee would like to do at this point, or what I would suggest that we do is, thank you for coming, and we will take this up with Judge Pack in a hearing that it will not have any direct contact between you and the judge, and give him an opportunity to explain to the committee a little bit more about this case.
Okay.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I tried to get this resolved and it's just never happened.
I understand things are very slow moving in the courts right now.
Yes.
And I can appreciate the frustration that you feel along with many others in trying to get your court case resolved. But we have to ask you, to please understand the position that this puts us in.
I do understand.
Great, okay. Thank you, and Pam, what we would do is we would have our committee assistant maybe, or I would draft a summary of what took place after the fact, and just let you know that the committee paid close attention to what you came here and told us tonight.
Okay, now did Judge Pat hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Did Judge Pat hear all my testimony just now?
Yes, he did. He's sitting right, well, he's not sitting, but he's here on this committee Zoom meeting, yes. So he heard everything that you had to say, Pam.
That scares me because he's gonna retaliate.
Well, I would have to try and waylay your fear on that, and just try and tell you that it's unlikely, and we're hoping that that wouldn't happen.
Okay.
All right, so at this point, I'll thank you, and I would ask you to disconnect so that we can
Okay,
conduct this meeting further. Thanks very much, Pam.
thank you.
Do we know if there's a disconnect here, Peggy?
Should I go offline for a second or?
Yes, you can do that, just for a second. The committee will go offline for a moment